Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Palantir. It is time for another update, and on this chart we've seen significant upside in the last 3 years when the uptrend has actually started, and it's unfortunate, disappointing even, that it has built such a bearish pattern in this expectation for a wave 4, because it would have done all that it needed to if it got to the $119 level within a 3-wave correction to resume its uptrend in pushing to new all-time highs. But since I cannot really trust this idea of an ABC structure to be taking place here, since within this as a wave 2 I do not have too good of a match for this as a wave 4, I have to prefer the interpretation where this would have actually built a 5-wave move to the downside, which would be suggesting that after a 3-wave correction into a wave B resistance area, I would need to prefer continuation within at least another 5-wave move to the downside within a wave C. That would get a reset within this wave 4, and it is a bit unfortunate because already the proportions of this wave 4 are sufficient. I wouldn't prefer to get this extension, but this is the situation. This is what we can track with the data we have, unless we manage to build internally in a more direct fashion an ABC pattern, and at this point I have no indication of this being the case. I have to be wary of a larger ABC pattern that could extend for quite some time before taking us to new all-time highs. So, in the previous video we have been looking for this wave 5 to, at the very least, take us into the support region for this as a wave 4. Unfortunately, it hasn't. It would have provided at least some confidence in interacting with this support level, but at the same time, so far, this wave 5 would still be able to extend. So, I have been tracking this area of resistance in orange for a potential larger ABC structure within this wave 5 in yellow. Since we haven't yet broken the levels of resistance we have in place, there is still some pressure to push within one more low, but at the same time, I have identified in this reversal from the latest lows a potential initial 5-wave move to the upside, which would be rather suggesting that we would get, after a 3-wave correction, at least another 5-wave move to the upside. And it seems we have gotten the reset today, which is really not a problem because within the white area of support, I still have plenty of room for either a reset within this wave B in yellow or this wave 2 in blue. And this blue scenario is really an interpretation where I have to consider that, okay, perhaps this wave 4 in white has bottomed. This could perhaps be tracked as something like a WXY pattern, in which case I am looking for direct extensions to new all-time highs. But given the context where we have an initial 5-wave pattern down, where we haven't gotten to the support levels, I have to be rather prepared that we would be only building an ABC structure in yellow into a resistance area for a larger ABC pattern for the reset within the wave 4 in white. Now, in terms of resistance for this overall expectation, I am watching the levels between $150 that has already been achieved up to $185.5. If we get a sustained break above that, I can start to have more faith in the blue scenario, but until it is the case, I see strong pressure for this chart to extend to lower prices. Then, given that within this 5-wave pattern to the downside in yellow, I have a full count, I do not actually need to form additional lows. This extension could be given or not, but since I can identify within the smaller time frame an initial 5-wave move to the upside, I would rather see a larger ABC structure against $128.6, and this is my actual trade setup. This is my primary expectation to form one more high within at least a wave C into the higher levels of resistance, where I could quite safely look for a more substantial top to be had within this wave 4 top region, around $160, $162. And to be clear, it is still too early to tell, but this is my current expectation. As this structure would reverse and extend to higher prices, this might change because within this wave C in yellow, I do expect to build a 5-wave pattern. Now, since we haven't actually started this wave C, at least I do not believe so, I would like to show you my expectations for this internal correction, because I believe this is a quite simple A, B, C pattern we could be tracking, where within the wave C, I am once again, of course, looking to build a 5-wave move to the downside. I will be tracking this movement in white, and I will consider that quite likely we have even bottomed within this as a wave 3. We actually would be looking now for a wave 4 correction and a wave 5 before considering that a more substantial bottom would be in place. In terms of resistance, for this structure, I would expect to not get a break above the 50% retracement at $141.6, and that happening would be rather a signal that this structure would not be playing out in this manner, that we might actually have a bottom in place, that we might need to look for a different structure to play out within this area, and if we happen to extend directly lower within this as a wave 3, I would need to of course adjust this area of resistance. But until we actually reach it within a wave 4, my primary expectation would be that continuation to lower prices would still be part of this as a wave 3 to the downside. Now, a quick recap. Within this structure, I am looking at a quite promising trade setup in my opinion. We have the levels between $140.5 down to $128.6. I expect primarily one more high, that is the likely portion of this structure, and I would expect to still form one more low within this overall correction, and I can even provide you an ideal target for this wave C, which is the 100% extension of the wave A, that sits at $132, but do keep in mind that it is an ideal target and it doesn't need to get there. And if you actually struggle with these trade setups and you want to work on this with me, I encourage you to send me an email. You can see it on the screen right now. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.